Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast that's been covering the DC multiverse on film and television since May 18th, 2015. Today is May 13th, 2023. So we've been doing this show almost a full 8 years. We've been doing it 7 years, 11 months, and 24 days as of today.
Well, that snuck up on me.
Yeah. It's a little depressing. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello. I was apparently 30 when this started.
Right?
Yeah.
So, shout out to the patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of you is very special to us. You help us so much.
Absolutely.
It really is the best way to support the show. And those that do, forever in your debt. You can support us at the $1 level and you get every episode ad-free. Support at the $5 level and you get that, plus stuff like our recent Marvel review, where we discussed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, or our series Comic Castaways, where we randomly pick little-known comic book characters and talk about them. The most recent of which featured a discussion about Kordax, the accursed, Kordax, the accused, Kordax, the guy with a serrated dildo for a hand.
Kordax, the guy none of you recognize.
Kordax the Forgotten. Patreon.com/DC on Screen if you'd like to come support the show and get some fun stuff, some fun stuff from time to time. You want to jump into this news, man?
Knock it out.
Cool, man. So, there is a report that says the Flash cost $220 million.
Okay.
That's higher than Wonder Woman 1984. That's higher than Black Adam. Both were reportedly around $200 million. And just below Man of Steel, which was $225.
Yeah, but at least Man of Steel was an honest $225. Well, mostly. With Flash, it's going to roll in every false start production into that budget.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Every writer that was hired, typically. Grant
true.
Morrison's $100,000 or whatever it was probably is in there somewhere.
That's probably true.
And then Andy Machete carrying the fucking baton the whole time. No, we're going to do it.
As many of you know, and we are aware, there are so many TV spots and snippets of The Flash out there right now. And like we told you last episode, we are not getting into it here. I'm watching them. I'm sure Jason isn't. And We want to respect you guys who are trying not to hear too much else about the actual content of the film, because there's a lot we could pick apart.
Oh, yeah. No, we can start making guesses about things, but there's no point. Come on, enjoy it.
I'm seeing stuff, and I'm like, oh.
I'm paying my $15. I want the magic of experiencing something. Not trying to do a jigsaw puzzle in the dark. God damn it.
Sean Gunn was talking to...
That being said, anyone who has questions, you're probably safe to DM if they wanted to. And hey, did you see this? Private messages are probably fine with Dave, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you can just message me. I'll be like, man, I did see that.
Man, I saw that shit. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So over to Creature Commandos.
Throw it out there.
Throw it, man. Throw it. Sean Gunn was talking to Comic Book Movie about playing G.I. Robot and Weasel in Creature Commandos. He says, I love that project. The scripts are so good. We've already been doing a little recording, which is fun. I can tease that we're going to learn a little more about Weasel, which is going to be interesting. And I just love G.I. Robot so much. He's driven by one thing and one thing only, which is his hatred of Nazis and his desire to kill as many Nazis as possible. So for me, as somebody who hates fascism in all its forms, I can relate to somebody who's wanting to get out there and put smack down on some Nazis.
There's a wholesome feel to that somehow, especially imagine it coming out of his mouth. I just don't find him to be a menacing person.
No.
I wonder what we're going to find out about Weasel. He actually could swim the whole time.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was a ploy. You know what? Actually, that would have been smart. Jump out, pretend you can't swim. He survived.
Yeah.
If that was planned, it was brilliant.
I would love it if there were some little twist where it turns out Weasel, underneath all of the sputtering and licking and gnawing, that he was a genius.
Yeah. He runs back to get Arms Fall Off guy or whatever his name is now. Nathan Fillion's character.
Oh, the detachable kid?
The detachable kid. There you go.
TTK.
Yeah. He runs back and grabs just one arm and runs away. Just so he'll always know where to find him.
Yeah. It feels almost like it shouldn't be Sean Gunn playing that character. It feels like it should be Welker.
Voiced by, yeah. I mean,
just running around. Yeah. Just slimering it up.
Yeah.
Over to Superman Legacy. This today via the Hollywood Reporter. They're reporting that there are front runners. David Corrin Sweat, who recently played the ill-fated projectionist opposite Mia Goth and Pearl, is among the top contenders to play Kent, aka Superman, advancing to the screen test stage that will likely take place after Memorial Day or early June, multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter. 2 other contenders may also be in the mix, but their identities remain unknown. Now, David Corrin Sweat, I don't know him. I've never seen him act, but my God, he just looks like a very young Henry Cavill.
You know, I had to look him up, but you're not wrong.
Yeah.
He's definitely got the sharp features. I could see a curl on him.
Now, this is a person that a lot of people have been trying to fan cast as Superman. Jacob Elordi, the sought-after star who broke out as the resident villain on HBO series Euphoria, is a name that surfaced for the role of Kent, but sources say he never submitted himself into the ring. So we can mark him out. British actors Tom Brittney and Andrew Richardson are also names that were in the early mix, which makes it seem like they're not anymore. As for Lane, the spunky reporter at Metropolis's Daily Planet news organization, contenders have been Emma Mackey, one of the stars of the Netflix series Sex Education, and who will appear in Warner Brothers' title Barbie. Rachel Brosnahan, the Emmy-winning star of Amazon's acclaimed The Marvelous Miss Maisel, Bridgerton actress Phoebe...
Wait, hold on. Who'd you say that was in Maisel? Who'd you say that was in Miss Maisel?
Rachel Brosnahan.
Just want to make sure I got this right. I was trying to look everybody up as you go, but yeah, no, the actual star, right?
I guess so.
Oh, she'd be glorious. I mean, she'd be glorious. That's my favorite going forward. All right.
Okay.
Sorry to pause you.
No, you're good. You're good. Bridgerton actress Phoebe Dynevor and Samara Weaving, last seen in Scream 6. It is unclear who is advancing on to the testing stage. Brosnahan is said to have delivered an outstanding audition, but at 32, may be in the older range for what Gunn is ultimately hoping to achieve. You know, David Corrin Sweat's only 29. She's 32. I like the idea of Lois Lane being a little older than Clark.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Especially 29, 32. Like, that's an age range that it's fine.
Negligible.
Yeah.
Sources caution that some of these are not screen testing and have merely been in the mix. One source, without providing additional detail, dismissed some of the names as a chat room list. Warner's had no comment, and one insider said, the filmmakers in studio are nowhere near a decision. One role that
I believe the last part, without question.
One role that seems to have only one person earmarked is the classic villain Luthor.
You did, but yeah, let's keep going.
Nicholas Hoult, currently starring in vampire thriller Renfield, has been tapped to play the bald-headed evil genius. Holt's name has been swirling around Legacy for several weeks now, with some theorizing he was up for Superman. The actor had a previous close call with the DC movie realm when he was the runner-up to play Batman for Matt Reeves, with the role going to Robert Pattinson. The studio has loved him since Fury Road, said one source, referring to Warner's 2015 action classic from George Miller. And while the roles being chased by many of the town's up-and-comers include the trio of classic characters, sources say the movie will be populated by many faces as it will seek to introduce DC heroes that are already established in the movie's setting. Now, interestingly, James Gunn had this to say.
We'll go with that as the sort of truth on the matter, probably.
For all of you asking, I would never comment on who is or isn't auditioning, all caps, for a role. That's the actor's business only, and isn't something I'd make public unless they did it first after the fact. Like Glenn Howerton or Zachary Levi having auditioned for Star-Lord and being top choices. For now, only one person has been, all caps, cast in Superman Legacy, and it isn't any of the regular players in the Superman world. Merman emoji. Of course, my mind goes to Lori Lamaris.
No, it's still somehow going to be Sean Gunn.
Yeah, it'll be Sean Gunn.
Yeah, my bro's in it. We know that part. I do love that he's like his boundaries as far as the privacy goes, and that's glorious. And you know, I read that earlier, and I remember Zachary Levi was one of the like finalists for Star-Lord, but I'd forgotten about Glenn Howerton, and that would be a really funny universe to be in. A swole Glenn Howerton as Star-Lord. Like they both would have been great. I could have watched like I wish there was a parallel universe where I could watch those films.
Yes, me too.
I enjoyed the shit out of those.
I think like that is the primary reason I want to visit any parallel reality is just to see the different versions of movies that would have come out. That's it.
You really just need the Rick and Morty thing then.
Yeah, I just need interdimensional cable.
Yeah. I would watch that. Absolutely watch that with you.
Oh, sure. I would be okay with Nicholas Hoult being Luthor. I have to admit.
Not even okay. I think I might be rooting for it a little bit.
I have to admit, though, I would love it if it was Rooker.
Just in general?
Just Michael Rooker. Like, we know Kevin Smith had Rooker in mind for his Superman script. Rooker's in Gunn's films. They're friends. Like, I know he's already somebody in the DCU, but we're kind of soft rebooting.
We are, but like...
Let's make Kevin's dream a reality.
I'm not opposed to it at all. And even like a Georgian accent version of it, I'm not opposed to. Not really. It would change the backstory a little bit because he always kind of has bougie education. But
I mean, he can still have an accent. I mean, look at all these rich-ass Southerners who are like, well, in the Republican Party.
I mean, generally, yeah. But like, if you spend enough time somewhere, it does change your dialect. So like, here's my question. Have you ever heard Rooker not sound like he's from Georgia?
I would have to go back and listen to several things, but...
And why I ask is I'm curious. I think he's a very studied actor. I respect his work. Don't get me wrong. I've just never seen him actually try to change his accent to my memory.
I don't remember if he had the accent in Mallrats.
Oh, you're right. Maybe there. Which actually is maybe the best advertisement for him being Luthor. Now that you mention it. But I don't remember. It's been, God, probably the better part of 20 years since I've watched Mallrats. I'm curious. Still, I mean, like I said, he's a professional. I'm sure he could do it if he wanted to. I've just never actually seen him put in a position to do so. And, to my memory is what I'm saying. But even if he did, if he just like southerned it up, it'd be great.
Yeah, I don't need like Lex's backstory or anything. I can headcanon whatever. I'm not going to be upset. But then I liked Eisenberg. I
mean, also not like there's not amazing universities in Atlanta specifically. So
right. I also like the idea of Lex Luthor being, he's xenophobic.
Yeah,
that fits the Southern mold. I like the idea of
I mean, a lot of my friends want to be like 10 miles from their nearest neighbor. Why the fuck? Why? I just want to be able to play. I just want to be able to play drums and put on an amplifier and not piss anybody off.
Right
at 9 p.m. or 8 a.m. Short of that, hey, buddy. Happy to wave across a yard. I don't care.
I like the idea of a super genius who can just build whatever and figure stuff out, like starting out in his dad's garage. That's fun. That could be a fun take. And they've dipped their dick into it on Titans.
They have a little bit, and also that's not even far from like some real stories, like a Wozniak Jobs kind of situation, like literally in a garage.
It'd be fun to have like a Luthor who was like a real America type, Like, we don't need these damn aliens flying around crowding up our damn sky. Get out there, Mercy.
I hate that this makes sense, but if you actually had like a Luthor that was that like deeply like we're going to keep the jobs in America, but he was also so like inventive that he could create his own industries at will. Kind of would work. Like, it kind of would be a huge boon.
You can even imagine him telling his buddies about Mercy. Man, I just hired this girl, Mercy Graves. She knows all kinds of damn kung fu, man. She's gonna kill it. That's the kind of bodyguard I need.
You know that.
Of course, I also got a bunch of damn Iron Man robots too.
This sounds weird, but it is Luthor, and of all things, he's evil. We all know that. He's terrible. But of all things, like in that accent, I hear one of his buddies going, "Oh, you gonna fuck her, right? Don't you ever talk about her like that. That is not how we talk about a lady of that form." But
damn near my daughter. But you ever talk about my little girl?
I think you should respect women more in general, frankly. Not very Christian of you. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. I actually do think he would just like defend Mercy on that level.
Yeah.
Like, don't you sexualize that bitch. You realize how much she can fuck you up? Are you fucking kidding me, first of all? And
like,
second,
I feel like
that's
he
just
wouldn't...
crass. Be better. Be better.
I feel like he wouldn't even have the conversation. I feel like he would just like pull out a gun and shoot the guy and be like, disrespectful as hell.
Anybody else got something to say? Yeah.
Anywho, moving right along. I do think Nicholas Hoult would do a fantastic job as Luthor.
I genuinely do. I would let him keep the hair, though. I
really?
Yeah, I don't think I would like him bald, but I'd have to see the screen test.
You know, while I don't want it to be an origin story for Superman, and by all accounts, we're not getting that.
No.
I wouldn't mind if it was an origin story for Superman and Lex. Like, maybe they do like the comics, age them up a little bit, but have them be allies. And then something Superman does ruins it all. Like, maybe they're already starting to have disagreements about how they should do things. Lex is a little suspicious. Like, I could dig it, dude. I'm
certain. Hey, what do you think about like short red hair?
I'd be all right with it.
Like Cameron Monaghan kind of style.
He's a little pompadour for me, but
it would make sense though in a suit, right?
Maybe.
Holt could pull that off.
I'm not against anything for real.
Although you'd have to keep him absolutely shaved the entire time, or the black will start coming through the face.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're actually going to go redhead if they go Nicholas Hoult. I think they'll just.
I would just keep him as he is. Honestly.
Yeah. I would.
As shipped, no assembly required.
I would, but I don't know if we talked about this, but Grant Gustin was willing to go blonde for Barry Allen, and they were like, nope, it's going to ruin your hair. It's going to start thinning and falling out. You don't want that for how many years we're doing this. Barry Allen's brunette. And he was like, oh, okay.
I mean, I think we've talked about that before, but it's really funny. Also, in retrospect, do you think that at that moment Grant really should have just turned gray, knowing what was in front of him? Like, nope, you'll be here you'll be in the gulag for the better part of a decade.
The gulag.
You'll be in this cold, clean, cultured town that you can visit for about 35 minutes a day.
Before it rains.
We're going to put you in leather, which, as Stephen Amell described one time, is either like way too hot or way too cold, nothing in between. Yeah.
I do like this idea of Melissa Benoist going, I want pants, and Grant Gustin going, I want shorts.
Yeah.
So, as most of our listeners know, there is currently a writer's strike happening.
Of course.
Long story, very simplified and very short. Writers are not getting paid residuals for streaming services like they did for reruns, something they had to strike for way the hell back. They also want to stop the relatively new practice of mini rooms, where a group of writers will get less pay, less hours, and substantially less experience, which limits their ability to eventually go on to become showrunners themselves. And there's also a big concern regarding the use of AI being used to write scripts instead of actual humans. I bring this up because the question has been debated online. Will the writer's strike affect Superman Legacy?
The script is written?
The script is written. He turned it in a week before if I understood that correctly, a week before the strike started. And look, the last writer's strike lasted 100 days.
Yeah.
Legacy is out, due out, but I don't know why
you'll get there.
Switch those words.
You'll get there.
Jesus.
I got faith in you.
July 11th, 2015 is the release date for Legacy.
2015?
Sorry, 2025. My God. Yo, my stomach's hurting today. I'm just real out of it. So bear with me, please.
He's trying.
July 11th, 2025 is when Superman Legacy is coming out. We know Gunn turned in his final draft already.
That part we had. I mean, yeah, in that sense, he's pencils down, or I guess close your copy of final draft, whatever you want to do.
Now, as of April 18th, he said they were diving deep into pre-production. There's a ton of stuff to do there. They're going to be doing that. They're going to be casting. That won't be affected. But if they get into production and the strike is still going, Gunn won't be allowed to rework, rewrite, or in any way alter that finished script.
Not a bit.
For the duration of the strike. And we know, because we've heard him in interviews, Gunn rewrites all the time. He loves to rework, rewrite, change stuff in production. Why don't you say it this way? Why don't you say this instead of this? He's talked about that in interviews. So it could potentially really become a stifling issue for Gunn creatively and affect the movie, if it's still going.
Yeah, it's a real worry. Another thing for me that's a major worry is 100 days out of a 4-year contract is a chunk of like not being able to do your job effectively and like really dig in and like put your best face forward and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, it's supposed to be a 10-year plan. He's got a 4-year contract. And then we're going to take a chunk out of it and say, you just can't put pen to paper.
Yep.
That sucks. I
really
would
sucks.
hate for this new, whatever it's going to be, to just have the asterisk after all of the shit we've been through. And apparently 8 years after all of the shit we've been through to sit down and be like, no. I mean, it didn't work either, but you know, but you have to remember this was happening at the time. Like,
no one will remember that. I mean, there will be a few of us who remember that was happening, but the people that you want to argue with online, they're always going to be like, oh, you couldn't even get this done. And there was a writer's strike. But Birds of Prey flopped. It was the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I remember in the aughts, all the shows that I was actively watching that just were gone now, or got like a weird, shitty ending, and just these things really affect production in real ways. And it's not like it's just the writers. Like, you can't just make a show. I mean, Andor's showrunner got in deep trouble for trying to make the show anyway, even though they had the scripts and all that. But still, like, now there's a whole series of conversations about like, well, is making the show, even if you don't need the writers, is that crossing the picket line, or is it just if you do scabs and hire new writers? And like, not even trying to get into all that shit. It's a whole fucking argument. But like, bottom line is it absolutely affects everything. And as so many people have put it, like, God, it all fucking starts with writers. So
yeah,
I mean, bottom line is, I think you're on the same page. Fucking pay them. God damn it, fucking pay them. They've been striking since fucking the aughts about the streaming rights and residuals there, and still nothing. Just fucking pay them.
Absolutely.
All you're gonna do is charge us more anyway. Fucking do it. I'll pay another
for
50
the writers.
cents. That'll cover you ad nauseum. Fuck you. Do it.
I saw one writer holding a sign that said, "Buy one less yacht."
Yeah.
Someone asked Gunn whether or not any cast member from Guardians of the Galaxy will be in Superman Legacy. Gunn says yes.
Again, as we referenced earlier, Sean Gunn has been cast.
Actually, you know what? Chris Pratt was joking around about being Crypto with Gunn. So that'd be fun.
I'm not saying I'd hate it. I'd love to hear Chris Pratt. Yeah.
Gunn was oddly specific though too. He was like, "Well, you wouldn't be the voice, but we'll just have you do mocap for Crypto."
Oh, that would be fun. Oh, that would be a fun Easter egg. Is like Chris Pratt was only Crypto in the sounds of like when he was like licking his own ass. Mm-hmm. It was literally voiced and characterized by somebody else.
Yeah. By the way, I do hope that Crypto doesn't talk. And
I mean, in that sense, I love the Titans version of it. Like, Crypto gets his point across. Everyone kind of understands what Crypto's thinking, but there's no like, telepathic powers here.
Yeah. By the way, I've seen a number of news outlets being like, Gunn teases first ever live action Crypto. And I'm like, excuse me?
Bitch, no.
F you very much. Titans did that shit.
Mm-hmm. And goddamn well.
But yeah, if you've got Eagly, man, let's do Crypto, let's do Streaky, let's do Comet, let's do them all. I'm down. Super Horse.
That'd be a fun introduction to the Amalgam universe, is just all the pets get together.
Uh-huh.
And then afterward, they're all like, where'd you go? It was weird. I don't know what to tell you. Then like 8 years later, they get sucked into the same hole. And like Cosmo is the one who's like, oh, I've seen this before. Russian accent and everything. But
oh, God. Yeah, man.
And then you just see Crypto put his head down like, I'll enjoy
yeah. I just want like some big crisis event where...
By the way, you realize in this situation, Ace has been planning for years.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I want some situation where, like, Pariah or somebody, I want to say Pirate Badger. That's not his name. Psycho Pirate.
Yeah. Pirate Badger?
It's a thing from... it's the thing one of my old roommates used to call his girlfriend Pirate Badger.
Oh, dear God. It does not sound flattering.
It wasn't, but it was funny.
I'm not sure that relationship was meant to work out.
Oh, it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But, Psycho Pirate or somebody who's, completely just able to discern previous universes.
Mm-hmm.
I want some version of it where someone is saying something about the super pets, Comet and Streaky, etc. And Superman's just like, no, what? There are no super pets. That's weird. That's stupid.
That would be fun.
They were real. I swear to God.
No, I would love this panel just in one of the crisis events of whatever DC's going to do at any given time. It's always going to be crisis, whatever, right? And
sure, I guess.
And they're always the biggest that's ever happened, right? And in one of these, just one character like Psycho Pirate, just kind of like you see a pull quote from him almost that just says like, you don't understand. There's a universe they all visit. Crypto, Ace, Streaky, Comet, they're all there. They've saved us more times than we even can count. They can't tell us about it. But we owe them all our lives.
I don't know. Munchie the Super Goat seems to disagree. Nay!
He just got left out of one. He's been salty since.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was asking Gunn if the composer for Superman Legacy had already been revealed. He says no, but he was calling the actual composer. So there has been one chosen. It's just not been revealed in any capacity. And James and Sean were on Wired's autocomplete interview YouTube show.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asked, is James Gunn the Kevin Feige of DC? And after laughing to themselves, Sean Gunn said, there's a Venn diagram where what they do is similar. And there's part of it where what they do is different, right? And James says, it's actually a little different. I mean, number one, DC Studios is a studio, so it's a little bit different. Peter Safran, the co-CEO, does a lot of what Kevin Feige does. A lot of what I do is I just work on the creative side of things. So mapping out the stories and the creative side of the universe is my job much more so than some of the more administrative, executive type stuff. And Kevin has to do both. So to me, that answers the big question that a lot of people I see have, where they're like, how can James Gunn just be doing all this writing and running, he's going to burn out. Like, there's no way he can do it. Well, it's because he's not doing the other shit.
Yeah. I mean, he could burn out, sure, but...
I mean, yeah. I mean, he said himself, like, he can only do it for so long before he needs to bring in other people. And we know that he's got James Mangold writing Swamp Thing. Yeah,
and good for him.
And also, Creature Commandos was done a while ago, as far as writing is concerned. like a while ago,
Yeah.
before he was ever made anything.
Yeah. Those scripts were ready.
So I think he had kind of a head start in a lot of ways.
Still, it's you know, I like seeing them laughing about that too. Like, oh dear God, how many times do we have to answer this question? Listen, all right, we have a whole support team. Also, do you think to some extent the laughter is like a little bit of a misinterpretation about Feige's role? Like, he's not, I don't know, he's not some godhead that just, he's in charge of, well, I mean, he's in charge of everything, but it's not like he does everything. He delegates. No. There's a whole team. Like, if there wasn't a whole team and the whole delegation process, it wouldn't have lasted.
Right. There's a whole brain trust with Feige. Over at Marvel, they've got like a bunch of people who are working, who are just like mapping out the universe. It's not just Feige.
Which makes it funny to me when they ask Gunn, like, so you just got this all on your shoulders, right? You don't even understand what I'm being compared to.
Yeah. And so, I09 was talking to Gunn, and he says the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman movie that's produced by J.J. Abrams, commonly referred to as the Black Superman. Mm-hmm. He said that and Legacy are two totally unrelated things. He says that, talking about the Coates Abrams project, he says that's an exciting movie. I know that Shangel Nong, who is the executive on that project, is extremely excited about it. So if it comes in, and it's great, which I haven't read the script, and if the timing is right, that could absolutely happen. That's totally unrelated. It would be an Elseworlds tale like Joker.
Nice.
So, a lot of people have been wondering, is that still a thing? Sounds like it's still a thing for now.
Yeah, I'd be in.
Now, this is ridiculous.
Lovely.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
I love it when you started that way.
During a panel for the Batman v Superman showing at Snyder Con, Zack Snyder and VFX supervisor John Desjardins gave some background information on the MPAA and over getting a PG-13 rating for Dawn of Justice. Desjardins says the MPAA was hounding them about the most minute details of how violence was depicted in the film. Not surprisingly, a lot of it had to do with Batman. He says, remember when you kept coming back to me saying the MPAA wants us to take... Remember we couldn't do the blood splat on the wall for the crate?
Wow.
But we kept taking all these things out, and it was still getting an R rating. And then you got that note from them, well, we just think that Batman's too mean to Superman. And we were like, can you really comment on that? And they were just like, we think it's rude that they're fighting, Snyder explained. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's in the title. And the MPAA kept saying that they needed the stricter rating. They was like, yeah, this is NC-17. This is an X. Is there any way you can cut them fighting? How about they just team up and they like each other? How about that? Maybe they argue at the first act, but then they shake hands and then they fight the bad guy together. And Snyder says, well, they kind of fight the bad guy together at the end. Didn't you see that? And they're like, well, there's a lot of fighting before that.
Holy fucking cunt.
Why are they not given this? I mean, I hate to do the comparison, but did they do that with Marvel and Civil War?
Yeah, I mean, I know. And the comparison's real there. I get it. Just, I got nothing. That's fuckery on a level that I can't even really digest.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Absurd. Well, I mean, I just think that we could give it a different rating if it was a different movie. Like, what if we just reviewed another movie and gave that another rating? Okay, cool, do that. What about mine? Yeah, we just, yours is just going to be we might as well classify it as porn, basically, for all that matters. I just don't like the idea of the two guys with the chest symbols doing a punch out. I mean, it seems a bit rude. It's a bit. That's actually a good point. Was it a British focus group? It's highly irregular. It's a bit rude.
As I understand it, it was the MPAA. It was literally the Motion Picture Association of America who were in charge of rating the damn movie.
Translating for 4-year-olds. I don't like it when they fight. Well, I just think it's a little bit rude when those two fight. He's mean.
Which kills me because in 2016, I was so amped up for this movie, and I would meet people. I would see people who had like a Batman shirt or a Superman shirt or whatever, and I'm like, oh man, you excited for BVS, Batman v Superman? I don't know. No, not really. Like, why are they fighting? I thought they were friends. Had no idea that was going on at the MPAA. That is just amazing to me.
I mean, I don't use the term often, but filthy cash applies pretty readily, I think, to what I assume is 4 people with 3 neurons between them.
Like, all right, well, enjoy your Super Friends DVDs. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a ridiculous thing that we talked about. It had to have been 2015. It had to have been. We've talked about it on this show at the beginning of the show, and it is so rare that one of these crazy-ass rumors actually comes back around and we find that they were true.
It's going to be rough, isn't it?
According to Zack Snyder himself, quote, we thought Zeus could possibly be Kryptonian so that Wonder Woman's powers... anyway, you can see where that's going. The whole thing of whether or not magic or gods, there's a version of where you're like, that's cool, I guess. Then there's the scientific aspect. You have the pathology of wondering where gods come from. We had played around with that quite a bit. So at some juncture, like we had years and years ago, we had these rumors like Zack Snyder's gonna turn the Kryptonians and gonna make the Greek gods into Kryptonians, and that's where they got the Amazons from. This is bullshit.
Of course. And
we were like, maybe that's true, but and we never heard anything else about it. There was like a few weeks where it was madness online. But it turns out that was a real thing that got leaked. Like, Zack Snyder was actually just thinking about that. Like, not necessarily putting it into a script, but... And what's funny is I think back then I would have been like, yeah, I don't want that. And I still think I'm that way. I still think overall I'm that way because there's a certain amount of... it makes the universe feel small to be like, well... there are only humans and Kryptonians, So if there's going to be Greek gods, got to be a Kryptonian. But I do like the idea of them being Kryptonians who landed on Earth all these years ago. They had the crashed ship. They had the broken chamber. We know there were Kryptonians on Earth somewhere at some point. It would be cool if they were the Greek gods. I
can get behind it in one capacity for me personally. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's just Kryptonians, then it's a little bit boring. I kind of wouldn't mind the idea that, like, so many generations have passed since that ship hit.
Yeah.
That they don't know. They assume they are gods. And they have, like, evolved into powers that aren't necessarily going to match, like, a Kryptonian these days.
Yeah.
Like, that I could... I don't know. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't completely sold on the whole Kryptonian Greek god thing, though. And I don't think it played out as far as the universe went.
No. I didn't see them actually doing that anywhere.
Mm-mm. I mean, and my major contention with it has nothing to do with whether it's a good idea. It can be a fun idea. But honestly, the major problem is, like, is Wonder Woman, frankly.
Uh-huh.
That does have to be special. That does have to be magic. And there has to be magic in that universe just to fuck with Superman.
Right. But maybe magic was developed by ancient Kryptonians, and that's why it hurts Kryptonians.
Yeah, I could deal with that. And, that has some, like, Smallville kind of vibes to it, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I'm ultimately glad we didn't see it, but...
I think it would have been my favorite part, but... It has merit, and, like fleshed out properly, it could have been real fun.
Yeah, I would have been interested to see how they did it.
Like, let me give you 6 films and see what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I want a prequel. A la, like, Rise of the Lycans and Underworld kind of prequel.
Mm-hmm. That's all the movie news I've got. You want to go to a break and come back with some TV?
Sounds good.
Cool, man. All right, we are back. We're going to talk about Sandman very, very briefly. Will the writer's strike affect Sandman? Neil Gaiman writes, whether or not any of Sandman is delayed depends on how long the strike goes, and there won't be scab scripts on Sandman.
Bless him.
Bless him. CW is reporting, or no, not CW, Variety is reporting that with the cancellations of Kung Fu and the Winchesters, there is quite a bit of doubt cast about whether Superman and Lois or Gotham Knights are expected to continue at this time. They said the CW will likely only renew one of the shows because they want one DC show. Superman and Lois has the bigger audience, is averaging 1.2 million viewers over 7 days to about 675,000 for Gotham Knights, but Superman and Lois considerably pricier. Gotham Knights is the least expensive DC series the CW has ever aired. But there's also
$45 an hour. Well,
there's also
an indication. $45 an hour. Altogether.
We're going to stand in this alley with some cardboard boxes and call them costumes. Yeah.
Yep. We gotcha.
So, yeah, THR seems to be indicating, though, that Superman and Lois could get renewed, but moved exclusively to HBO Max, which I'd be okay with. Like, I don't want Superman and Lois to get canceled.
No, I feel you there.
Like, I know I do a DC On Screen podcast. I'm sorry. I have not been able to bring myself to watch one single episode of Gotham Knights. Those trailers look atrocious.
I'm behind General, so I don't even feel like I have to apologize for that.
Just can't.
I am so far behind that's not even a problem for me.
It's one of those things where I need distance.
Yeah.
Like, maybe one day, probably one day, I will get around to it. Not today. Grant Gustin is apparently open to playing The Flash again.
Yeah, in pieces, probably.
Yeah. He said, I can't wrap my head around it right now, obviously. But if someone called me today or tomorrow and was like, hey, we have this amazing Flash idea, obviously it's like, I'm going to take that phone call and I'm going to listen to that idea. And I think this is a character that I'm going to, no matter if I play it again or not, I'll probably be associated with this character more than anything else in my career for the rest of my life. So I will always listen to any Flash pitch. It is very, very close to my heart. I think it always will be. That's a classy answer, I think.
Classy and prudent.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's not wrong.
He's learned from Amel. Never say never, because then you'll just look like an asshole.
I mean, yeah.
What's that Fiona Apple line? Never is a promise and you can't afford to lie.
There you go. But even then, like, Amel just, oh, welcome back. Grant Gustin, though, like, that's incredibly prudent, as I said. Like, yeah, you are going to be associated with that character for forever. I know some of his history because of a couple of shows that I've heard he was on, because we have so much association with this character.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to do something extraordinary to break away from that little pigeonhole.
He's got to play Iron Man.
I mean, for real. And even then, it'll be associated with another comic character.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this,
Gustin,
but Ava...
the next Highlander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could deal with that.
It'd be something bizarre like that.
Ava DuVernay had an overall deal with WB.
Mm-hmm.
That is now done. That has come to a close. On Thursday, reports from Puck revealed that DuVernay has opted to not renew the overall deal, which was apparently a mutual decision made with her and Warner Brothers Television, made before the current Writers Guild of America strike.
Yep.
So, I mean, what would she do? Like Naomi? That was canceled after one season. HBO Max's miniseries, DMZ, and the animated series based on Wings of Fire. That was it. Since 2018.
No, the big deal that was supposed to happen was New Gods with her and Tom King.
Oh, yeah, that was the real thing that didn't happen.
That was the meat and potatoes for me. That just, I wish I could have seen that. That would have been good, I think.
Yep. And we still may. She has an overall deal. That came to a close. There's nothing that says Tom King can't, like, tap James on the shoulder since they're hanging out and be like, hey, man.
That deal's done. You ain't paying her a retainer anymore, but can you pay her X amount?
Yeah. Me and Ava had this absolutely fire New God script.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit. Yeah.
Which actually in the current climate means already written. Already written.
Yeah.
Got a printout. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope this doesn't last long, man. I really don't want it to drag on like it did last time.
Yeah, I don't either.
Just to get, and the last time they got kind of like, it was a small, like a lowercase W, wasn't it last time? Just give them an actual uppercase W so we can all move on, please, for God's sake.
Yeah, I think it's going to go on longer than 100 days, honestly.
Yeah, I know. I
feel like I felt like last time was a lowercase strike.
I know.
This feels substantially more poignant.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to the aftermath or the present math of that.
This is like all
as
the
pent
pent-up
up
aggression.
Put off of, shit we talk about that we care about.
Yeah, this is still like pent-up aggression from the lowercase W last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of those guys are still fucking in the profession.
Yep.
And they've told people about how they got fucked over before.
Mm-hmm. Last piece of news we have. Justice League Warworld animated movie. It has officially been rated R for some bloody violence. Appropriately after that BVS conversation.
No, I love it when the animated shit's like, no, this is R. This is bad.
Yeah.
Like I get deeply excited. Like, oh shit, that's gonna be good.
Warworld has an interesting cast. Jensen Ackles is Batman / Officer Wayne.
Of course.
Stana Katic as Wonder Woman / Diana Prince. Darren Criss as Superman / Agent Kent. It also includes Amadi as Martian Manhunter, Troy Baker as Jonah Hex, Matt Balmer as Old Man, Roger C. Cross as Machiste, Brett Dalton as Batlash, Trevor Duvall as Drifter, John DiMaggio as Lobo, Robin Atkins Downs as Mongol, Frank Grillo as Agent Faraday, Rachel Kimsey as Mariah Romanoff, David Lodge as Sheriff, and Damian O'Hare as Demos, and Teddy Sears as Warlord. In Justice League Warlord, the Justice League has been a loose association of superpowered individuals, but when they are swept away to Warworld, a place of unending brutal gladiatorial combat, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the others must somehow unite to form an unbeatable resistance able to lead an entire planet to freedom. Sounds cool. I'm interested about this timeline. This is Agent Kent, Officer Wayne. I'm intrigued.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I know DiMaggio sticks out when you say it in my mind, but like, oh my God. John DiMaggio
as Lobo.
As Lobo sounds fucking
sounds like
amazing.
It was written in the stars. Like, why have we not thought about this before?
Like nothing in my life has ever sounded so perfect.
All right, we got several pieces of feedback here. We got 5 stars on Apple from 22 Comics. It says, awesome DC Comics content. Great show for all DC news, reviews, and tangents. David and Jason are some of the best. Thank you, 22 Comics.
Thanks. And I'm glad you're not pissed about the tangents.
Yeah, me too. You are entered now officially into the Shazam Fury of the Gods giveaway. Mm-hmm. And we'll be announcing that next episode because that is the promo ends tomorrow.
Oh, in real time?
So, yeah. So
it's ended by the time this happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's over now.
Well,
but it's over now.
It's not sorry for him. Look, I expect we'll get this up before tomorrow, I think. And I suspect I'm just going to let people go all the way to the end of the 14th.
All right.
So,
magnanimous of you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't control the dates, but that's WB Home Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't specify. So, let's see. We have a 5-star review on Spotify. I didn't know they had star reviews on Spotify.
Oh, they do.
Andre,
they do.
Okay. Well, then that's included too. And Andre Spark says, hey guys, I left a 5-star review on Spotify and posted it on my story on Facebook. Hope this counts. It certainly does, Andre. By the way, you're just awesome anyway.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'll always send in us stuff. I can't include all the feedback you give us.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. There's just too much, and I love it.
Yep.
So thanks. He says, secondly, I was listening to the cast, and the guy you were talking about, that Glenn Beck type, was that Mr. Miracle? That show was great. Keep up the good work. No, it was not Mr. Miracle. It was actually Glorious Godfrey, a.k.a. J. Gordon Godfrey.
God damn it. I knew that was going to hurt when I finally heard the words.
Don't you mean Godfrey, damn it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God damn it, Freed.
Yeah. I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, God. Yeah.
I have this image of... In my head, he's played by like the mayor in some season of Buffy, because I think he's played that in Smallville, if I recall. But Godfried, yeah, that's definitely.
Don't remember
the name.
Actually.
It's like some barker they send, some like town idiot to go out and proclaim the, which cracks me up too, because like you send the barker out, and like what the fuck is the point if you have the anti-life equation?
Yeah.
Why do the preamble?
Well, you don't always. They don't. Most of the time in the comics, they don't have the anti-life equation.
Well, I feel a lot, but
I feel like there's a lot of times where like Darkseid is either like looking for it, or he's like trying to figure out how to make it work.
I mean, that's true. That's accurate. There is actually a chunk of the comics where he has it, and we have to deal with it.
Yeah,
and then another chunk where like, man, just find some other hobby.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times he's just an angry dude who's like, someone pissed me off.
Yeah, like, can you just, you're big, just like hit people. Yeah.
I also feel like there's a chunk where it's like he's going to Granny Goodness, going, okay, so what are you doing? Oh man, I'm doing a thing down on Earth, and it's great. Okay. Me and the Furies, fair. Man, we're selling some kind of
that's fair
virtual reality thing. I'm just thinking about Young Justice now.
Yeah.
Stu Little.
I do like that he just walks over occasionally. What are you doing to fuck Earth up? We have this plan. It's good. And just goes back to his throne.
Yeah. Like, dude, Superman just came up here. He's pissed. What are you doing? I told him I didn't know anything about whatever that bitch was doing.
God, that would be fun. I would love a reluctant series from Darkseid. Superman's up. Like, he's in the back. What the fuck did y'all do? Like, what happened? Well, we turned all the kindergarten teachers into parademons. Why? Why would you do that? Did you not realize he would be... God damn it. I have to go deal with this right now.
Yeah. You know what Darkseid has, like... Darkseid and his cronies. They're like Lord Zed and then Rita Repulsa. Like...
yeah.
Like, because Granny Goodness is totally Rita Repulsa, and then it's like Goldar and Babu and Squat, and just all of these like ridiculous, silly creatures. And you're like, damn it, Desaad, what are you doing, man? I'm sorry, my lord, my dark lord. Oh my god, like
I just love that that like when they're not planning something and taking off beat, somebody does something rogue.
Yeah, in my head,
why would you do that? We had a whole plan.
In my head, they're always doing that.
We were going to do that a year and a half from now. We had a whole plan. There was a meeting yesterday. You weren't there.
Yeah, like I would totally I would write a story. Like, this is why nobody would want me to write a story for DC, because like probably the first thing I would do would just like be like Granny Goodness loses one of the Furies, like sends one of the Furies or sends her Furies down to Earth to cause some havoc, and then just doesn't hear back for a while,
No, of course.
And then like winds up going herself, and she's like, "What the hell did you do?" Okay, so hear us out. We were hungry. We stole a couple of things. Then we realized there's this thing called OnlyFans. And we've been eating good. And
oh my god, we killed it.
They really like the black leather straps across the tits. I don't know. Like, they love the whips. I think this might actually be a better fit for us.
Oh, but then then you have to worry about like transferable income.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, how many dollars do you have? Well, what does that mean for Apocalypse? Approximately nothing. So you've made So you've made no dollars that actually affect my kingdom. Maybe.
Like, I'm sorry, Granny, your kingdom? I mean, let's not split hairs here. I mean, it's Darkseid's kingdom. We're not really working for your glory, are we? I mean...
Are you, though?
Stu Little, SL Fricky on Twitter says, chances of seeing Brainiac being used as a villain for the Green Lantern Corps in anything anytime soon? Because he should be a top 5 most wanted space criminal, surely. I think Brainiac will be the main villain in Legacy. That's my guess.
Yeah, I can deal with it.
We might have like hints at Brainiac and Green Lantern Corps. But if Brainiac shows up in Superman Legacy, I think Green Lantern Corps or the Lanterns as it's called will come after Legacy. So we might have like an alien who's talking to, what's his face? Hal Jordan or well, I can't think of names.
Hal.
Yeah, Hal Jordan be like, Brainiac destroyed my world.
Yeah.
Sort of like how they did with Star Trek, where they would bring up characters who were like, the Borg destroyed my world. Oh, I'm sorry.
I assume you're talking about the Coastal City situation.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that. It could just be like some, like a really sad Kanjar Row, saying like, damn Brainiac. That's why I'm a criminal.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a criminal today, is because I lost everything when Brainiac destroyed my world.
Of course.
But yeah, I'm pretty certain Brainiac will be a villain in Legacy. Alex Bickler on Twitter says, who is a villain you think should have a place in the DCU, and who would you want to play them?
Who do you think?
Who I think? A villain I think should have a place in the DCU. All of them?
Well, of course, but
like, I want to see everything, but I think it would be cool to do Mongol.
Oh, just bastard. Gotcha.
Yeah, of course. I just talked about War World, so
yeah, of course.
That's foremost on my mind, I think. But I want to see Brainiac. I want to see Joker. I'm basic.
No,
I feel really sick to my stomach now. Like, I'm not a good fan. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing a podcast.
No, I'm not far behind you on that. Like, I would love in the new version to have like some Joker, some Darkseid, some, if we're going War World, then Kalibok or something.
Yeah. Hey, here you go. Here's hoping that the new Batman is Michael Fassbender, and the new Joker is James McAvoy.
Both are good.
I would take that all day. I'd love to see Karen Gillan as Batgirl or Poison Ivy. She has expressed interest in playing Poison Ivy.
And bless her heart.
You know what? I really want to see Mr. Freeze done right. Like, I really want to see Mr. Freeze done right.
Rooker.
Dude, I could do Rooker for that too.
Rooker.
For real. Like, we could do Rooker. We could do, I've always wanted
to bring it back to Rooker, as apparently we did this whole episode.
Yeah. I mean, I could find, like, I've always wanted to see either Patrick Stewart or Leonard Nimoy play Mr. Freeze.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't think it's a good choice now, but you could, get certain people. Like, dude, you could do, like, good. I mean, would everybody be okay with grabbing Tom Hardy and shaving his head again? I mean, he was young Picard clone and Nemesis.
He was good, but I would rather shave his head and make him Man-Bat.
Yeah, I could see that. I hate the character Man-Bat, though. I hate Kirk Langstrom. I hate all that shit.
No, I enjoy that shit.
I get so annoyed with, like, I feel like Fox kids played on leather wings way too much.
Oh yeah, no, that representation, bad. That's a bad boy. But
I mean, I didn't mind the representation. I just got tired of the episode.
As far as it goes, though, like Tom Hardy, like, oh god, he could absolutely do that.
Yeah,
and we're talking about like Man-Bat at this point is like part of the Justice League Dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'd kill it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I tell you who. I really want to see Arcane from Swamp Thing done well.
Nice. Oh, who's your Blue Devil?
Who's my Blue Devil? Whoever wants to be Blue Devil. Like, I would probably just bring back Ian Ziering because he was killing it on the HBO Max Swamp Thing or whatever it was, the DC Universe Swamp Thing. I liked his Blue Devil a lot.
Yeah, I'm not fighting you on that.
I thought he did a good job.
You know, of all the things we hate about Swamp Thing, the show, God, that makeup was amazing.
Makeup was amazing. The effects were great. I had no problem with the guy playing Swamp Thing.
No, the actual Swamp Thing. When you saw him actually come out of a swamp, which was, to my notes, too clear to make sense. The actual water. But, oh, God damn, that makeup was fantastic.
I mean, yeah, it was. I loved Crystal Reed.
Yeah, good.
A little too much turtle soup, but you know.
Yeah, did you have a problem with turtle soup about, like...
Yeah, I didn't like turtle soup.
Yeah.
I didn't like that guy. Like...
Was that the guy in Star-Lord? Like Star-Lord's grandfather?
No, it wasn't.
Different guy?
It was the guy who was the bad guy in The Postman.
Oh, that guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about
anyway.
it. I was curious.
I got it. I know. It's one of my old favorites. I always go back to it when people ask these kinds of questions. Alex, I'm sorry. You got a lot of answers here. But the villain, I think, should have a place in the DCU. Argyle.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Argyle.
Yeah, fair enough.
The sentient sock, who is the arch nemesis of Ambush Bug. And who I think should play him, David Hyde Pierce.
Yep. All right, on board.
We got one more piece of feedback from, or a question from Lou Lanza, and I'm so sorry, Lou. I completely forgot you wanted us to talk about this, and I'm not going to get deep into it, but several weeks ago, Mark Guggenheim posted on his newsletter that even after running Arrowverse and pulling every string he had, calling in every favor, and spending $10,000 of his own money to finish Crisis on Infinite Earths, he hadn't even received a call or courtesy meeting with James Gunn. He also said he didn't expect to, but he definitely seemed very put out by not being tapped to discuss his thoughts on the movies. Personally, I thought it was perfectly understandable that Gunn didn't talk to him. Because if you don't talk to him, there are no misunderstandings. Gunn has his people tapped. He has a brain trust set up that doesn't include Mark Guggenheim, and that's fine. The fact that Guggenheim says, that's Hollywood, I didn't expect a call, is fine, but why write what ultimately led to at least 2 newsletters bemoaning how much work you put in? Dude, you did your job, you went above and beyond, we're grateful for what you pulled off, and anything more feels like whining to me. What do you think?
I mean, yes and no. I think he should be contacted as far as what he pulled off, but also what he pulled off in the terms of a producer is, I've said this before, no one will ever match that. Or if they do, it'll be incredible.
Yeah.
Like, what he did with that crossover is historical.
Yeah. I loved Crisis on Infinite Earths. Absolutely.
Now, that doesn't mean he has to be included going forward, but yeah, it would make sense if those two hooked up a little bit on notes.
See, like, to me, if I were in Gunn's position, I would have never even thought to contact Mark Guggenheim. It would not have even crossed my mind. I would have called you. And then I'm sure I would have called we would have called many of the same people, because you know I'm pulling you along. We would have called many of the same people that James Gunn did, like Tom King, Drew Goddard, all those cats. I would have called Gail Simone. I would want Misha Green there. Like, there are a number of people, that I would have called, and I would have never thought about Mark Guggenheim. But that's just, a lot of that is the style.
I mean, I get that, and there's no obligation here. And Guggenheim's, insinuation that there might be is a little misleading. But the thing that I would have gone to him for, in particular, is just all the, crossing the streams, like all the mixed properties, like that was impressive. Like, I would kind of want to know how you pulled that off.
Well, Gunn does not need to know that because he is the stream. There is no crossing the streams anymore. Gunn is in charge. Gunn can use whoever the hell he wants. So in that way, like, what Guggenheim knows about that is fine, but not applicable anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes and no. But
like Gunn said over and over again now that he is the one who decides. He has access to every character. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, sure. He's got the Godhead position there. But, like, as far as getting everyone to cooperate before that was even a thing, I think I would, I don't know. It might come in handy to know how Mark did that. Because that was before all that. Also, the universe did get combined in a way that can't be undone now. I mean, that was Ezra Miller on CW. Like,
yeah. I don't know.
Frankly, the show Arrow is the actual universe prime for DC right now.
The funny part is, I think if you and I were somehow in charge, it would never occur to me to call Mark Guggenheim in any capacity. I think you would, though, however, like pull me aside and be like, I think maybe we should talk to Mark. And I'd be like, why? We're in charge. So I probably would wind up having a courtesy meeting, but I don't know, to me, like, you consider like how much James Gunn is having to do and how much he and Safran are like trying to get this thing off the ground.
In that sense, I don't mean like time? Courtesy meeting as far as like, it's not for his benefit. I mean, it would be for mine. Like, he pulled off something that was incredible and put the universe in a different space than it was ever before.
Yeah, I feel like you would be doing it out of like just wanting to geek out.
Oh, a little bit, but also just how did you make those meetings happen? How did you get everybody in line to actually like submit to this part of the universe? Like, how did you get fucking Lucifer involved? Just weird shit like that.
Remember how I said I spent $10,000 of my own money? That's how I did it. Like,
and I probably would. Like, I vibe a little bit with that. Yeah, I mean, anyway, I think it would be I think he's a good resource as far as that goes. I don't blame anyone for not reaching out to him. It's not like that, but to that extent, I guess thinking about it, not reaching out, maybe they know what he did already. It's probably pretty obvious in the back end of the little Hollywood connections, but I was amazed on the back end of what I saw.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I don't know. At the same time, I feel like if I was Gunn, I'd just be like, look, I don't want to talk to all these different people about how they got what they did is different than what I'm doing because I'm in charge and I don't have to answer to anybody. So I'm going to go do the thing and hopefully still be able to do this in 4 years.
Yeah, in that sense entirely. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Gunn needs like tips on how to navigate Hollywood, I guess.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, all right.
But Lou, I'm so sorry we took so long to answer this. That was just my fault entirely. So
it's all right.
Anyway, I think that's going to wrap this episode. You can hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at DC On Screen. You can email us directly, dconscreen@gmail.com. And we will have this up soon enough for you to get in a 5-star Apple review or Spotify review or share us on social media to enter into our Shazam Fury of the Gods digital code giveaway. You'll be able to do that until the end of the 14th. That's tomorrow. Hurry up and get them in. Patreon.com/DCOnScreen to support the show monetarily. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.